It's time for another Dice Tower review with the Chief, Bart Brunsheen.
Hey, it's the Chief from the Dice Tower. I'm here today with Judd Vance, also known as Air Juddin on BGG. We're going to do a quick review on Basketball Bones. It's a basketball simulation game, kind of a throwback for me, and I always forget it is from Sports PT Games, Inc. Let's go in and take a little bit of a closer look, and you'll see what I'm talking about, and then we'll come back. Everything with Basketball Bones is a little bit old school, which is fine. So the box is more than functional. You're just going to see it's kind of the old flip top open. I'll get some of this out of here and I'll show you. Game board is simple paper. It has a little bit of a bend fold mark in here, but it makes it a little hard to set up. When I played, I had to break out some of my plexiglass from my war games. You get your colored dice, but these player cards are the main thrust of what's going on. And the difficulty, although it's not mind-bending once you get used to it, no problem. LeBron James on the front. There's a lot of bookkeeping to be done. So you're going to have a bookkeeping sheet. Not really my thing, but that's all right. And you got a few little cards in here that are going to allow for some rare play things and some buzzer beater charts. Jed kind of calls it a little bit of chrome that's thrown in. The game is billed as being as simple as just rolling one set of dice, which is a real neat idea. I love dice rolling, and when I first heard of it, I thought it was going to be kind of similar to pizza box football, where maybe I'm selecting the kind of dice. Not the case. These are the default dice you're going to use every time on your turn. What happens is you roll the dice and you'll refer to whichever player has the ball. That's going to be the crucial part. So let's say LeBron James has the ball. You're going to have all your other players on the board, and there's some minutia I'm not going to get into. While you're looking at your card, you can see the player's name, the team he plays for. He can be a forward or a guard. You can just see the year that he played in. And all of these, offense, defense, 2 points, 3 points, free throws, offensive rebound, defensive rebound, and then you got ball handling and defensive penalties and such. All this is going to matter to these dice. All right, the very first die, which I have them in order, you'll see is the blue die. And the blue die is the shot indicator die. And what you're looking at is if it's equal to or less than the ball handler's offensive rating, which you can see the bronze ball handling rating is 4. So you can see it right there below the 8 die. So on the shot indicator die, in this case, I've rolled a 1. It's equal to or less than the number 4, so it means that he has attempted to take a shot. Now, if it had been greater than, we would have gone over to this side of the chart, which actually is ball handling. I've got it blocked here. And the exact same die would end up applying into this area. The 8-sided die would come down to an offense or defensive foul. But let's stay with the fact that he's actually taken a shot. Parentheses, it's just that it's a 2. If I'd rolled a 2, it would mean that he's gone for a 3-point shot. Then what you're going to do is on this same category here, all right, he took the shot. It was not a 3-pointer. We don't have to worry about ball handling. We don't worry about the black die. So we look at the red and white die, and it's a 5. So he took a 2-point shot, and you can see that his range is 2 through 6 or 9. So he's made a 2-point shot. Now, every time you roll the die, you're also going to move a certain amount of time on the clock. You can see your clock up in this corner here. So we would have gone, if this is the very first play, from 12 to 11:48, and you can see how it just ticks off. Every time you roll the die, you're going to move the clock. The clock matters because you're going to be tracking stamina, and the longer your players are on the court, they'll have some fatigue that'll kick in, and you'll have to sub players in and out. And obviously, you're going to have to rest your better players. Real quick to point out, other players do have defensive ratings, and they have an option based on their rating to affect if a basket was actually made. So you'll be looking back and forth at the cards to see if, like in this case, if the defensive rating had been in the 5 range, that would have meant that the shot wasn't made. You don't apply it on 3-point shots, and there is some chances for fouling and some different things that can happen in terms of gameplay as you're going down. Again, I'm not going to really dive into that. I just wanted to show you this dice system and how it works with a card. So before I break back out to Judd and I'm just going to say I love the idea of having a single roll system that kind of tells you everything and uses the card. It wasn't quite what I'm looking for, and maybe I'm not a big simulation guy. I mean, I love B17 Queen of the Skies, and it's got a similar effect here. B17, you're not really making a lot of decisions. You're rolling the dice and following charts and doing what it tells you to do. And it tells this beautiful narrative story. I mean, a painful one in B17's case. Love the game. That, to me, is a very valid criticism here. This is going to be a system where you're going to roll the dice. You're going to refer to the charts on the card, some charts elsewhere in the game, and then the player that's opposing the player, and it's going to really tell you what happened. So it's going to be more like watching a game with a lot less interaction from you. All right, we're back. One of the main reasons I invited Judd to come along for the review, other than he's one of my good gaming buddies and a Geek of the Week, is that when I went to just pull some history on Basketball Bones, I pulled up games I was familiar with from the old days of Stratomatic and Status Pro from Avalon Hill, and I saw these exhaustive, awesome, lengthy reviews on both those games, and to my surprise, they were from Air Judden. So I knew I had to have him come in because I needed to get his perspective on this, because most of the sports games I play are football related, not basketball. So Judd, how does this compare Basketball Bones to some of what you're used to?
Well, when you design basketball games, you're usually looking at 2 things. One, simulation value, and the other's kind of how flexible, fun you can get on within your coaching decisions to really get that chess match going out on the basketball court. Something like Status Pro had a glaring weakness to me that I saw in it, that rebounding was way more important than anything. When you're playing a draft league and Fat Lever's going ahead of Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman and Roy Tarpley are your top 2 picks, there's something wrong with the system. So you lost some of your simulation value with that. At the same time, you took something like the old APBA game. It was so simulated, you just put guys out there, recalculate the charts, and sat back and they let the game play itself. So if you can get a good balance between the 2, that's what you're looking for. In this one, most basketball games are using an action deck to run the game itself, and you reference the cards. This one uses the dice system. That's pretty cool. It's kind of unique. You roll the dice, it tells you exactly which columns to go to and run through the system. The downer is not a lot of choice in it. You get determine who gets the ball. 1 out of 6 chance you can decide. Otherwise, it's just completely random. Now, the gunners are going to take their shots. There's a gunner rating fixed into it, so your guys, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, they're going to take the shots. You don't have to worry about Mario Chalmers pumping up 40 shots a game. It's just not going to happen. But at the same time...
Now, see, he's got all this inside info. Now, just a real quick sideline. What I kind of expected was pizza box football. I'd read that there was a lot of, roll a set of dice, and that's going to pretty much determine what's going to go on. And for those who know pizza box football, there's some strategy in there, simplified, but on what you're going to do with your dice. And this is more of what Judd's saying, where it does feel like it kind of... To me, it's a simulation that plays itself. I love B17 Queen of the Skies because I get into the story, but you're not affecting too much when you play B17 Queen of the Skies. Good comparison?
Yeah. Yes. You don't quite get the narrative because it's a basketball game and you're not fighting for your life.
Well,
it's kind of like you get done, you got a box score.
LeBron James, maybe.
Yeah. Sometimes you get those outlying games where the guy goes for 60 points. Those are kind of fun to watch and witness. It's dice based, so its probabilities are going to work. You play 82 games, and the Miami Heat's going to probably win this amount of games, and James is going to score 28 points a game and throw the right amount of assists. Where you're going to have the most fun with this isn't in. I mean, some people really like that. See how well the sim works. To me, that's kind of dull. Where you're going to have fun is Bart and me are going to draft up all-star teams. So I'm going to have James playing alongside Kobe Bryant, stuff like that. That's kind of fun to mix and match players and find out. Throw all the teams into a single elimination NCAA tournament, let upsets happen. Those are kind of fun to play. Draft leagues are the best. You get 6 of your buddies together, you draft up teams, your wheel deal. If you can throw a salary cap into it, it's really crazy. It's like fantasy football to the nth degree.
Does this bring anything new to you? I mean, with your base knowledge, huge knowledge on your sims for basketball.
Well, the dice are really you roll 4 dice, there's a certain order, blue, black, red, white you're going through, and you're not going the fast action card. So that was kind of cool.
Do you prefer it over, say, Stratomatic and the card turning?
Not really. I'm a huge Stratomatic fan. It's like my 3rd, 4th ranked game overall. I like Strato because the players have more choices. You can decide whether you're taking a perimeter shot, you're going to drive. And unfortunately, this doesn't calculate this.
Sorry, prop plane flying overhead. Kansas.
This doesn't really calculate this. It doesn't come into play. You lose the effect of having the 7-foot shot block in the middle and how he really alters the game. Okay, I don't want to take that driving shot because he's there. This is kind of like you missed. Oh, and by the way, he blocked it, so there's a stat for you. You do get the effect that good passers make everybody around them better, but you're missing some of that flexibility Stratomatic gives you, which some people might argue, hey, you're just a coach, put the players in and let them play. But I really like to get in there and have the choice on, is Larry Bird going to take the 3 or take the 2, or is he going to drive on the guy? You get the mismatches going on, the real chess battle flying, and you don't really get that. You just kind of put them in, let them play, and let the cards go where they may. You're going to make substitutions, but not a lot of decision making.
Does it feel like an old school throwback, or does it, where does it feel like an 80s simulation game?
Yeah, the one I'd probably compare it the closest to, it's a lot like Stratomatic Basic game, not the Advanced, and Status Pro without the rebounding flaws. It doesn't use the fast action, but it has that same simulation value without as much decision making going on in it. The old Status Pro, the boxing game they made back, the Untitled Bout, those kind of things, you just kind of sit back and enjoy the show, but you don't make a lot of active decisions.
Yeah, we're old Title Bout players here, and that was kind of some of my feel. I lean toward football if I was going to be playing some kind of simulation. So I'm not as engrossed into all the lingo, and I played some basketball in high school, but that's about it. And I think Judd hit it on the head when he said, if you're into basketball simulations, the rule book reads easy. Everything he said made quick sense to him. He was able to play quickly. So those are all definite pluses there. Again, the quality of it to me just definitely, it felt more like a 1980s basketball sim or a sports sim. And that's my only detractor from it. This is the expert on the basketball sim.
Yeah, he could have used a few things. The game board's kind of flimsy. You better have something to hold it down.
Yeah, production.
It's going to curl on you really bad. It could use a scoreboard on there. Not everybody wants to keep score. Sometimes you just want to sit down and play your all-star game and not have to keep, keep track of fouls. But other than that, you don't really need to keep track of a lot of the rest. And unfortunately, this is forcing you, including the scoreboard. It needs a little scoreboard on there for you to keep track of your score.
All right, excellent. Steal. See you guys.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.